Hey everyone, welcome to the Work Logic. We are going to share our thoughts on the recently concluded ICC T20 World Cup, which India won. Um, it was India's first ICC trophy after 13 years and the second ICC trophy after 17 years. You could say it was a perfect ending for players like Rohit Sharma, who started his career with winning the one in 2007 and then ending his T20 career with this. So we'll just share our thoughts, go about the events which led to the final, and then discuss what happened in the final, and also the emotions post winning the World Cup. Also, there is a lot ahead for the Indian cricket. There is going to be some restructuring from the coaching perspective, and also there are a few tournaments which are up and coming in the next year or two. So I'm joined here by my friend, and we can start. So I'll just set up the context. So when the team selection, when the team was announced for the World Cup, there were a few eyebrows which were raised. First of all, given the captain's form itself, he didn't have a great IPL by any means, given his own sky high standard. But also the off-field drama which kind of happened with MI, where Pandya was given the captaincy ahead of Rohit Sharma. But that is one thing. And then selection of four spinners, when even though the pitch was very spin friendly for in West Indies, but but then going into the tournament, we started off pretty well. We had a few bumps along the way, but towards the end, we kind of came into the groove, especially players who did not perform in international cricket. Players like Suryakumar Yadav and Rishabh Pant, but they kind of arrived finally in the biggest of stages. So I want to know your thoughts as to what is the feeling after winning the World Cup after a long time.
Yeah, hi guys. So basically, I didn't have much expectations when the tournament started, to be very honest. So at the start of the tournament, or even before the race leading up to the tournament, after the IPL, obviously. So I was thinking of another semi-final finish because World Cup, 50-over World Cup was the pinnacle event that I thought that we will be winning. But I think this was a very pleasant surprise from the Indian team. And for players like Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, obviously there were rumors that this was going to be their last T20 World Cup. So I think them winning these is just icing on the cake. These are my thoughts. To be very honest, to be very specific about the tournament, I thought everyone contributed. After a long time, there was a team where there were notable number of contributions from many players. It is a sweet ending for the team, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it is not common to see everyone contributing when it comes to Indian cricket. It's always been the top order and our fast, probably our main bowlers. But as you said, yes, it was a sweet surprise. Now, just looking, there were a few questions before the tournament started. One, obviously, what is going to be the opening combination? We saw throughout the IPL, Kohli opened with du Plessis for RCB. But you had players like Jaiswal, who was in decent touch during the IPL, and obviously he gives you that right hand, left hand option. But again, it's an ICC tournament, and I think Virat Kohli has been the best player in the past 4 to 5 ICC tournaments. There's no point in dropping him. It was just a question of whether he was going to open or is he going to come one down. That was one of the questions, and obviously the second question in continuity is what would be his play style. We saw in RCB it was a gung-ho approach from ball one attacking. But then given how Rohit Sharma plays, would you want both the openers going, absolutely berserk on both sides? Or do you want Virat Kohli to play, a more natural game, something which he does, probably the best in the world when it comes to pacing innings, be it setting a target or chasing the target. So these questions, and there were, I did understand both sides of the question. Like one where people wanted him to open because he's been doing that for the past 2 years, and he also did pretty well in the IPL. And then I also understand him coming on number three because Jaiswal, has shown promise. Obviously, as I said, he gives you that left hand, right hand combination, and he has done well over the years. But then, it was made pretty clear by, I think, Rohit Sharma himself when he said that he and Virat Kohli will be opening. It didn't work out. Absolutely, it did not work out. Given how he was playing, was going for each and every ball. There were a few ducks in those first 7 to 8 matches, but then come the final, the man stepped up, and again the situation was different. I think the first 7 or 8 matches he was the first one to get out, and then Rohit Sharma had these few innings where he absolutely smashed everyone around the park. But in the final, he was kind of strangled at 30 for 3 in the power play. He had no other option than to play his national game. And when he did play his game, we saw how good he is against any opposition, be it any track, be it any time of the year. When he is going to play the national game, take his time, pick those caps, keep the scoreboard ticking, and then it's business end of the game. He will score runs, and he did that, and it was a huge contribution in the fight. But then it does not kind of give an answer as to did the experiment work. Yes, it did work with respect to us winning. Did it work on a personal level for him? Now it does not make any sense because he has retired. But going ahead, we know we would need a new opening combination. I think Shubman Gill will obviously be there. It's pretty clear the BCCI is trying to groom him into the next phase of Indian cricket. T20 form has been a little bit on and off for him, but there is a great player inside. Let's see how that progresses. But on the other hand, you have three extremely talented openers. Obviously, Jaiswal, I think, will be the first pick, given he was selected ahead of people like Ruturaj or even Abhishek Sharma, who scored an excellent 100 today against Zimbabwe. So I think in terms of opening, we are pretty set. In terms of we have 4 options. I think these 4 players will be the main opening players going into the next 2026 T20 World Cup as well. What are your thoughts on this?
For me, when it was pretty evident or clear that Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma will be opening, and my expectation from Virat Kohli was that you have to hold one end of the crease for like 16 or 17 overs, and the other batsmen like Rohit Sharma, Rishabh Pant, or Sky, who are all capable of exploding at any moment, just maintain a good run rate. And Virat Kohli has to make sure that there are no collapses because of his experience and skills, obviously. Because expecting Virat Kohli to also take the ballistic route will be more senseless, to be honest, because we have seen the West Indies team over the recent past that every player will try to go for the big shot, for the glory shots, and their approach is like that, and they haven't changed the way. And we have seen they have obviously won 2 T20 World Cup titles, but it hasn't clearly helped them in other formats, especially in the ODI format. So for me, whatever Virat Kohli did in the final, because there was some criticism, and obviously the fans were saying that if India had lost the game, the blame would have been on Virat Kohli because such was his innings in a final. But I don't think he made any mistake. He did what he was assigned to do at that day, and he executed it to absolute perfection. This being said, and now we know that both Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma won't be a part of furthermore any T20 internationals. I think the best choice of action will be to have a player like Abhishek Sharma and Yashasvi Jaiswal opening at the top, with either of Gill or Ruturaj to play the number 3 spot. So I think this gives us more of a balanced option. So whatever Virat Kohli did as an opener, we expect Ruturaj or Gill to do at the number three spot, and we have to go like this Hayden Gilchrist option with Abhishek Sharma and Yashasvi Jaiswal, because both are capable of scoring some very quick knocks, very quick hundreds. Uh, both are both have proved in the IPL setting, but international is completely different from IPL. That being said,
Yeah, that was an interesting analogy, Hayden Gilchrist.
yeah,
But yeah, to be if you take, let's say, Ruturaj and Shubman, they are kind of similar to Kohli in terms of how they go, about their innings, take some time and then, pace their innings pretty well. And on the other hand, if you look around for Jaiswal and Gill, they are more like Rohit Sharma who hit it from ball one. But yeah, that was an interesting analogy. But one thing is playing in IPL, the other thing is that translating it to international cricket. Both completely different ball game. Yeah.
now that we have these 5 T20 internationals, even though it's against Zimbabwe, even though it's not a very regular fixture for India, I think these two, especially Abhishek Sharma, has got a very good chance to prove himself, and obviously he proved it today. But it won't be enough. Even the next 3 games, he has to play at the same rate. I'm not expecting hundreds from him, but I'm expecting him to do what he did with Travis Head for SRH, obviously. So I think he's skilled enough to take down any attack at any given day. That is not going to be a problem, but the consistency is going to be the problem. We need more consistency from all these batsmen, and that has been a missing part for us over the last few years. That was one of the main reasons why we did not meet the expectations in the ICC tournaments. So that consistency has to be important no matter what.
Yeah, I did find something interesting in his innings today with regards to Abhishek Sharma. He was on 26 of 24 balls. That is completely unlike Abhishek Sharma. We know he's capable of hitting 50, 60 runs in his first 20 balls. But there was an element of controlled aggression about his batting. We saw in the first game, he wanted to strike it from ball one, got out in third or the fourth ball for zero, hitting it straight to the fielder. But today, he played by the merit of the ball, I would say. The bad balls were dispatched and the good balls were played on the merit. But then he, as I said, there was this element of controlled aggression, not going absolutely maniac on the field, hitting every ball, trying to hit every ball, which he tried for SRH. I know that came from the management or the coaching staff, but then we saw how that aggression kind of fizzled out towards the end of the IPL, where they could not, even in the qualifiers, in the final, Ed and Abhishek Sharma were not able to do anything. But this is something which is good to see. I hope he does this throughout, because if he kind of picks the ball to hit and not just blindly swing the bat every ball, there is a player in that guy. There is absolutely a player in that guy, and to have a left-handed opener is just I personally like a left-handed opener who is really, really stylish. Shikhar Dhawan was that player. We all know how good he is, but unfortunately he's had some problems off field. But then Abhishek, what he's done today, some of the shots he played against Sikandar Raza, who's a really, really good bowler, and it was a huge ground. Harare was huge, like all the sides was around 75-80 meters, and the way he just easily cleared all the boundaries, all the shots were just beautifully timed. And yeah, I just hope he continues to play like this, because I absolutely believe there is that player in him.
Sure, we can't expect any less from someone who's been trained by Yuvraj Singh, obviously the great.
Yeah.
Especially another left-hand batsman. Also, we should not forget that he's a left-arm spinner also. So that gives us an added advantage. And it's always good to have as many bowling options as possible, because that is what we have seen from a captain like MS Dhoni in the past, in the recent past, be it for India or be it for the Chennai Super Kings. He always prefers to have a lot of bowling options within him. The best example is the 2011 squad, where except for Gambhir and Dhoni, all others can just bowl at least one or two decent overs. So that is the kind of squad that I think we should be building for the future for the Indian team, because having a lack of bowling options is always a trouble, and we all experienced it in the previous World Cup final, because we didn't have proper all-rounding options. So that had to be compensated with bringing in five specialist bowlers. I'm including Jadeja as a specialist bowler, so which restricted us to just six specialist batsmen. But this current T20 World Cup was not the case, right? So we had Shivam Dube, we have Hardik Pandya, all these players who can come in and fill in the slot. So that gave us an extra attacking option also, batting wise, and we didn't have to worry about any injuries, or what if Pandya gets injured, or what if the X or Y gets injured, because we always had good backups. And Akshar Patel, not to forget him, had an absolutely fantastic World Cup, above everyone's expectations, that I should say the least. So I think the future coach, who's more likely to be expected to be Gambhir, I think he should. My wish is that he should be concentrated on having more bowling options in the Indian team, just like his KKR squad we can take for comparison. No? I think he should implement something like that for the Indian team also.
That does make sense. It's been a long time since one of our batsmen could just roll up their arms for an over or two. I remember, Sehwag used to bowl, and he was actually pretty decent.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and
I did,
Sachin in ODIs and Dale Steyn. So
yeah, yeah, but I did watch Abhishek Sharma bowling yesterday. It did spun for him. But yeah, he bowls some good lines. But then again, it needs some work. But first things first, I think his batting has been. We saw that in the IPL. He can be, absolutely destructive batsman on his day. But there is this line, right, between aggression and then going absolutely mad. That is the fine line that he has to deal with. He did extremely well today. I know they dropped a catch when he was on 20 odd runs, but then he capitalized in some of the shots that he played. Absolutely wonderful. Now coming back to the World Cup, right? We know the main players. We know how important Rohit Sharma's knock was against Australia, against England. We know how Bumrah was throughout the tournament. We don't need to speak about him. But I would, like to speak about a few moments, a few innings that, kind of helped the team, as well as, the player individually on a personal level. You obviously mentioned about Akshar Patel, and you said you were surprised. Well, I was not surprised, because I have been wanting that man in the T20 squad for more than 2 years. The things that he has done in IPL, be it his bowling, be it his batting, even his fielding, he's not on par, let's say, with a Jadeja or even a Kohli, but he is definitely top 5 fielder in our team. Definitely. So throughout this tournament, he got the chance. I'm very happy he got the chance. Now, obviously, he bats, that is an advantage. If he didn't bat pretty well, I would have thought even Chahal could have come in place of him. But he bats extremely well. Now, Akshar, as you said, is one guy who just got a chance, and he just grabbed it, absolutely grabbed it. And now that Jadeja's retiring, he's going to lock down that spinning all-rounder slot. But what I want to mention is, people, they often overlook. I know Jadeja has been one of the great servants of the game over the last decade or so. But then, when it comes to T20 internationals, he has not proved that much. I know he has delivered some excellent spells over the years, but when it comes to batting, His Test and ODI batting is good, is decent, that suits his game. But T20, if we let go some innings in the IPL and focus only on the internationals, it has been tough going for him. But few of the innings that Akshar has played, the one against Pakistan which he finished, gave us some really crucial runs towards the end. The one against Afghanistan, and then obviously the final. He came in a precarious situation. It was extremely tricky. It was a final. We were three down inside the power play. It was Kohli on the other side. The way he played a fast bowling attack of Rabada, Nokia, and Jansen all around the pitch, and then a really good spin combination of Keshav Maharaj and Shamsi. Some of the shots that he just swept for six, found the gaps. It's just the technique you see in his batting is absolutely mind-boggling, because given everyone knows, okay, Akshar is more, people are thinking he's more of a bowling all-rounder. The option that he gives you as a team, he can come in at number 4, which we saw. He can come in at number 5 or 6 and give you 20 runs of, let's say, 11, 12 balls and finishes the game or sets up a good score. The flexibility which he provides, I don't think Jadeja gives you that. And now there's no point in discussing this, but I'm just telling you how invaluable he could become if he keeps this up. The way, obviously we know he's an extremely skillful bowler. He has a lot of variations. He's got the control over his angles. In subcorner conditions, he'll be extremely deadly. But speaking just about his batting, the way he's batted in IPL, and then especially the final which he played and some of the few kind of cameos that he had, just the technique, and it looked like his batting was on par with his bowling, and that is like and obviously you have his fielding as well. Now I think this is the real 3D player. We got the wrong one in the 2019 World Cup, but anyways, so that is one. But there were a few other players that I want to mention, right? One which many people I think did not kind of appreciate enough is the innings which Suryakumar Yadav played against the US. Now, on a personal level, it was huge for him because there was this image that he does not perform in a pressure situation. He does not score runs against the big teams. Now that was almost a dead rubber. We had won the first 2 games. We were almost qualified for the Super 8, but chasing 110 runs, we were 3 down inside the first 2 or 3 overs. And he came in. The pitch was not easy to bat on by any means. Knowing him, we all know how he just goes from ball 1. He tries to be, that expansive batsman who's finding gaps everywhere. That day, there was a stark difference in the way he just set up his innings. He took his time. He knew this was the moment to show that he can do it the other way around, facing it very well, understanding the conditions. The way he did that, and then from that game onwards, he consistently scored 40s and 50s and 60s, and a really good one against Afghanistan as well, right? And there was a really encouraging moment when I was watching him play this time as compared to how I was watching him play in the last 2 editions of 2020 World Cup. Every ball was like he was playing on the knife's edge. You'll never know when he'll get out, when he'll place a loose shot. But this time around, sensible, that is a word that comes to my mind. It was extremely sensible, and he chose the balls very well which were to be hit. And obviously that didn't work out in the final, but he had an even more important contribution in holding on to Miller's catch. But those string of 40s and 50s from the USA game till the semi-final against England, right? I think that was something really heartening to see, because he is a fixed starter in the T20 side for India, and he is going to come down at number 3. I don't think Ruturaj or Gill would come down at number 3. It has to be Sky or Rishabh Pant, which we saw. And it was good to see this sensible approach when the condition is tough. Understand the situation of the game where the team is and the team expects something from you. He took that on. He was very calm, and I just loved, how the way he played throughout this tournament. I think one of the biggest positive, it doesn't get mentioned around. I think it's a personal opinion, but the way Sky kind of, you know, structured his innings throughout the tournament, it was really good to see. Do you have anything like this where something which is not being mentioned in mainstream media, but you kind of figured out, okay, this thing, it felt good to see.
Yeah, definitely. These are the unsung heroes, to be very honest. Apart from many people will remember the catch for a long time, but as you mentioned, the USA no. Even though people say USA are minnows or they are just playing their first or the second game at the Super Eights, I think they posed or they gave a tougher challenge than any other neighboring country of India. So, in that case, we should always be thankful and remember all these important or iconic knocks that play, because all these contributions, no, all these victories, all these things definitely did add up to the Super 8's qualification scenario, and also the confidence that we that gave us in semi-finals and the finals. So when we look at the overall performance of each and every player, as I mentioned initially, this has been one of those World Cups where when a winning team looks back, each and every player, right from Rohit Sharma to Jasprit Bumrah or Arshdeep Singh, we should not forget about Arshdeep Singh, highest wicket taker for India. So all these players have contributed really well for us, and I think this is just the first step in getting more victories. And all they should do is just try to find a formula for success. And if they keep going on that, I am sure that we will win a lot more ICC trophies in the future. Definitely, we have that scope. We have a very young team with the right mix of experience as well. So I think this is the best period for the Indian cricket team, the post Kohli, post Rohit Sharma era, and it's very exciting to see how they are going to develop.
Yeah, you mentioned USA not being some, pushovers. It's good to see cricket growing in these regions, and especially the way USA played, really good, absolutely good. Given it's their first major tournament, and the fact that they got into the Super 8 stage and even played well for some time. It was just really good to see, and they're not some like pushover teams, as I just said. It's some really good bowlers, really good thinking. The way they structure the innings sometimes, and the way they pulled off the win against Pakistan was really good to see. But yeah, so these things can often get looked over. The whole celebration was kind of superseded by Kohli and Sharma's retirement, and whole celebration in Mumbai afterwards. But yeah, these players. I think one more name which I would like to kind of mention is also Arshdeep Singh. Guy bowled some really tough overs and came out on top almost every time. Got his really important wickets in the power play. I think he ended up being the joint highest wicket taker. I'm not sure, along with Fazil Faruqi of Afghanistan. But yeah, these also punt, not for the entire tournament, but for the first 3 or 4 games, he saved our asses for some time. Especially the Pakistan game, where I was just hoping he would not get out the next ball, because that was the way he was playing. But then, that kind of brings us to the end of this section, where we just discussed what happened in the T20 World Cup.